Stress is always one of the biggest enemies for pretty much anyone at any age. Did you know that researchers believe nearly 80% of all illness is caused by stress-related issues? Now think about that. It could be stress before an exam, stress before meeting somebody for the first time, or even just stress at the job that you go to pay your bills every single day. I used to live like that too. In this video, I'm going to teach you how to manage that stress along with what the tigers taught me. Yes, I'm talking about real 450-pound lions and tigers. There's some right there. Hi, my name is Steven. I'm a trauma release expert, and you might have seen me on the hit Netflix television series Tiger King 2: The Doc Antle Story. Do you find that you're constantly drowning in stress with no real way to get your head above water? The first thing that I want to do is ask you some simple questions. What is causing your stress? Sometimes people know, and sometimes they don't. What are the key areas that you are struggling with? And what are the symptoms that you're feeling? Someone who is experiencing stress will notice an increase in their heart rate because they can feel that it's triggering them. But do you even know what's triggering you? Most people don't even realize that they've even been triggered. They tend to just say things like to themselves, "Oh, that's stressful." What they're really responding to is the way that they feel. So when I teach you how to interpret the signals that you've experienced your entire life, you will realize that you've developed a series of pre-programmed responses. When this happens, I respond like this. I'll tell you about one of my mentoring clients, and I'll just call him Sam to protect his privacy. Sam was suffering from stress, anxiety, and depression. He kind of had the combo package. And Sam has been dealing with these mental health issues for years and has over time developed specific responses to certain pre-programmed triggers. So here's an example of what that might look like. So the trigger is that Sam has a big presentation at work, and his pre-programmed response to that trigger, Sam starts to feel anxious. Now, this anxiety may manifest in physical symptoms like an increased heart rate, sweating, shortness of breath, and in response to these feelings, Sam might start to ruminate and second guess his preparation, imagining the worst case scenario, and might even consider calling in sick to completely avoid the situation. Now, let's say Sam learns how to interpret these signals in a different way through techniques that we taught him in our Metacognition Codex mentoring program. Sam might be taught that the physical symptoms are just adrenaline and a natural response to anticipated challenges. We have taught him cognitive techniques to combat negative thought patterns that will help him go from the worst case scenario thinking, which is his usual routine, to outcomes that will actually make him feel a difference. And I'll explain what I mean. The reinterpreted response might look something like this. First, you have your trigger, and we know that Sam has this big presentation at work, and that's very scary for a lot of people. Next, you use your new response that we have taught you instead of your default pre-programmed trigger. So when Sam starts to feel the physical symptoms of anxiety, he now realizes that it's a natural adrenaline rush and not a sign of something that is inevitably going to go wrong. And he reminds himself that he is prepared and capable because now he has learned the ability of how to feel the difference within him. So if he starts to imagine the presentation going poorly, he can stop, use the techniques that we've taught him, and visualize everything going well. And instead of considering calling in sick, he does some deep breathing exercise and gets a good night's sleep and prepares to face the day. You see, by understanding the true signals his mind and body were giving him, Sam has learned how to interpret the signals of stress and anxiety differently, replacing their pre-programmed responses with a healthier, more constructive one. It's important to remember that this process isn't usually quick or easy, but most of the time, and with practice, most of our clients can learn to manage their responses to stressors more effectively over a short amount amount of time. Now, most people are living their entire lives without truly understanding how to interpret the signals within their own body. And this is an insane way to live. But did you know that your brain is like a computer and can be completely reprogrammed to literally reject unnecessary stress? Now, not all stress is bad, and using neurolinguistic programming, you can begin to actually rewire your brain. This is literally reprogramming the neurological language of your mind. Now, this process might sound extremely complicated, but the truth is, it's actually very simple. When I teach you simple skills on how to reprogram your mind, you will be able to choose how to respond to the stimuli that triggers you. Now, we start by identifying the things that trigger us. And once you know the thing that triggers you and the reason why it's triggering you, you can then begin to rewire your brain so that the responses you deliver are of your own choosing. So with neurolinguistic programming, these responses are no longer socially conditioned within you based on the past. You see how this works? Stress can feel like it's consuming your life. So how can you use neurolinguistic programming on your own to ease some of that stress? Now that you know what neurolinguistic programming is, how can you do it yourself? Well, you start by slowing down and learn to quiet your mind. When you learn how to slow down your mind, you create space in between thoughts. And it's inside that space between your thoughts where you have the power to create change. So the very first step is learning to breathe, and learning to breathe the right way. Now, you might be surprised to find that no one ever teaches us how to breathe, and most people breathe the wrong way. They breathe small and shallow breaths. Now, how many of you out there just caught yourself breathing those small, shallow breaths? That is how you've been taught to breathe. Proper deep breathing, also known as diaphragmatic breathing, can help maximize oxygen flow to the brain and promote relaxation. To do this, sit comfortably with your back straight, and you breathe in slowly and deeply through your nose, allowing your abdomen to expand as you fill your lungs with air. And you should feel your belly rise more than your chest. So hold your breath for a brief moment, about a second or so, and then exhale slowly and fully through your mouth, letting your belly relax and fall. Now, the key here is that the exhale should be longer than the inhale to gain the best calming effect. Repeating this process for several minutes can help induce a sense of calm and relaxation, and it stimulates your nervous system, reducing your anxiety and stress. Kind of turns off the alarm bells. So your brain needs oxygen to function, and it needs a certain amount of oxygen to function the right way, or you start to yawn. So to cope with stress, it's essential to not only breathe properly and learn how to quiet your mind, but also, once you learn to breathe properly and quiet your mind, the next thing that I'm going to teach you is how to live a more mindful life. So what is mindfulness? Well, mindfulness is learning how to live in the present moment of your life, or what I like to call tiger wisdom. You know, in my live seminars called What the Tigers Taught Me, I discuss what I learned in my 20 years of experience working and living with these giant beasts. Think about it. This tiger weighs 400 pounds. There is no way 185-pound me can force this tiger to do anything. So the only way I can get that tiger to do what I want is by learning to speak its language. So you need to learn to speak the language of your own tiger within you. Another lesson that these tigers taught me is that cages aren't made of iron bars. They're actually made of our thoughts. We imprison ourselves in this BS thought pattern, and we have all of these lies that we've convinced ourselves is true. Now, I teach people how to live in the present moment and become more mindful. A tiger doesn't worry about tomorrow. He doesn't even think about tomorrow. He doesn't know that it's even coming. And a tiger doesn't think about yesterday because it has no value to him. The only thing that a tiger thinks about is based on the evidence and the stimuli that are directly in front of him at any given moment. He has no attachment to any sort of desired outcome. He only wants to eat. So he lives his entire life making decisions based only on what he sees in front of him. So if we could learn to do that, we would actually eliminate all of the stress in our lives. You know, when you begin to become more mindful and live in the present moment, you begin to analyze these things on a critical thought level that you've never experienced before. And this gives you the opportunity to decide if that serves you or not. You have no idea the damage stress is actually doing to your immune system right now. And after 20 years or so of working that way, is it any wonder in the last quarter of our life that all of these health problems show up? It's a direct result of the way that you lived your life when you were younger. If you feel like you're suddenly a new person after this video and some of the stress has been eased off of your shoulders, please give this video a like and subscribe. I'm here for you, and I'm here to help you navigate this world of stress and anxiety. The world's a crazy place right now. Take care of yourself and each other, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.